Hi everybody, it's Mel here. I am filming today and I want to introduce you to some new pens that are coming under the Inkler brand. Not alcohol markers, nothing like that. These are an opaque gel pen. So for highlights, adding in a little bit of detail, or just using completely independently from your alcohol pens, these are going to be great for you. So I'm just going to go through the colours, and what's really fabulous about this is they give you like an opaque chalk finish. So whether you're going on white or black, you will get the same colour, which is fabulous. I'm just going to go over that again, onto the white, onto the black. Look at how fab is that. Normally when you've got an opaque pen like this, what it will do is it will change slightly on black. But these have got a really nice flow to the ink. I would always have a scribble sheet just to be able to get that nib working first of all, get that flow of that ink, because otherwise you end up with a little bit patchy. So get the nib working first and then you get this fabulous colours. There's 10 in the set to start with. We've got the oranges, the blues, yellows, pale greens. We've got a white in there, which is fab. But look at this luminous yellow, even on black. That's really cool. And just, even for the children, these as well would be great. Just to give them something that's a little bit more grown up and get them used to using a good quality of pen. Because I'm a big believer that if you craft with the children, let them use your stuff, because their confidence grows because they're using good product, and they get used to respecting the fact that they're using a good quality product as well. So definitely when my grandchildren come round, I'm like, right, let's get the proper pens out, shall we? Let's have a proper play, because they love it. You know, my grandson, especially Jack, he loves colouring, absolutely loves colouring. But if I gave him cheap felt tips, he wouldn't love it as much because he wouldn't get the result. Let me just get that nib. Can you see what I mean? Just get the nib, get that ink flowing. And then we can go right the way across from white onto the black. And then we've got 4 more. So a paler pink, a nice baby pink here now. So again, just working with that nib and working your way across like that. There we go. And then a pale green, almost like a mint green here. Actually, a really nice colour. Very soft. I like the fact that the top fits on the end as well. I like that because I'm constantly losing tops off pens. So right the way across onto that black card. And then the teal, which is lovely. I have a nice grip on this handle as well. It's a nice thin handle too. It's not too bulky, which is nice. So it fits really well into your hand. I like the fact that it's got a clear lid as well. And then the teal, just get that ink going. Like that. Need a little bit better flow on that one there. And if you ever find that it's missing a little bit, if you put the lid on and roll it in between your hands, and I've found over the years that you have to do this with a lot of gel pens, it's keeping that, because the ink's slightly thicker, you have to keep it warm and rolling. So that's the easiest way to do it. And then it will lay down that colour even on that black card. Now the real test is the white, because I think we all know as crafters how difficult a white pen can be, and it can miss and it can be patchy, but we need a really good white pen, especially with our alcohol pens actually, to add the highlights in. So you're not really going to see anything on white, but the true test is what is it like on black. You're going to have to go over. Nice and slow. Look. There. Sometimes when I'm demonstrating new product, it's just learning a little bit about how it best way to use it, very much like the ink lily pens. So I've taught you to slow down with those, and then I'm going at 100 miles an hour. Just nice and slow, get that white down. And you will find that because the card's porous, it will sink in on the first layer. So then what you're going to do is take that pen and you're going to go back over the top with a lighter pressure like that. And then you get a nice white finish. And then even for doodling, you know, just draw. If you love your Zentangle, you know, your doodling, if you watch Sandra Rushton and you follow her, these pens are really nice for that too, look. They would go in your universal pen holder as well for your scan and cut. You'd have to tape them to get them to fit inside the barrel, but that's okay, it's a little bit of masking tape. And then you can just do a little doodle. And then we could go back and we could pick up, let's go to this pink, and we can do, fill in every alternate one with the pink maybe, like this. But it's a nice, I like matte finishes, I think it's really nice. It gives you a different look. And again, can you see, look, if you look really closely here, can you see the ink? How that flows now, started to really come into its own, and you can almost dot the colour on and it will give you a complete fill of that space. I'm not suggesting you colour in a big area with these, but these will be in like a nice little highlight or low light. So the white would be really good for when we've done the mushroom. So you could colour over the whole thing in red, not avoiding the white bits, and then go back in with your white pen. So if you struggle with that, these would be good for that too. So I'm just going to now, again, this time working in small circles, just finding out what's the best way, what the best application is for these. This works quite nicely, those small circles like we do with our brush nib. So that works nicely. And I'm going to see how long they take to dry, so we know that as well. You can blast them off with a heat gun, but it's nice actually to try and leave them to dry naturally, because the colour stays true that way. Sometimes you'll find if you force dry it, it can make the colour sink in. Look at that on the second layer. Look how solid and opaque that colour is. And again, just working in those small circles seems to be better. Like that. And let's try the green in the leaves. I like the fact that they're really matte. There we go. So you could use some of your stamps from Ink Lily, and you could stamp them in white embossing powder or a white ink onto black card or a metallic ink, and then colour in with these. And I'm almost doing what I do with the brush nib now, and hardly touching that surface. So I'm not pressing the ink in. If you look really, really closely, can you see I am literally just almost hovering above that card, which sounds strange, but the ink flow is smoother. Can you see there, look? It's much smoother. So that first layer is going down, and then the second layer is going to go on the top, like that. There we go. So it gives you that really nice chalky finish, which is lovely. But what's really cool about these pens is that you can also use them on mirror card and they will dry. And then look. And it's important that you work quite slowly, because you need to give that ink time to come out of that nib, just the same as we do with our Ink Lily. Look, isn't that fab? Very slow. And actually, you know what? That makes the whole process a little bit more mindful because you're just slowing everything down. Let's try this lilac. Get that ink flowing first. There we go. You see? So if they work on mirror, they will work on acetate as well. So think about stamping onto acetate and then colouring in. You'll get that stained glass window effect. And again, the test for me will be the white. Let's see what this white's like. I've tried so many different white pens over the years. This is actually quite good, this white one. You buy some and you buy a really expensive brand and then you get it and then it just doesn't flow with the white, but this is really good, look. So for highlights on your alcohol pen colouring, this will be great. But it's all about slowing down. It's funny, isn't it? You know, I've been using pens for years, but you still have to find what works best for which brand. And this is definitely, get that going first. You'll find with this that you'll get, can you see you've got a little bit of ink on the nib? So get rid of that first. That'll allow the ink to flow through. And then you find that a lot with pens like this. With gel pens, you find that an awful lot. Doesn't matter how much you spend on them. Because it's not an absorbent nib like the polymer rubber nib is. You just have to do a little bit of housework with them. But yeah, that looks fabulous. So let's see if we dry it off with our heat tool. And when you're doing this on a metallic, what you need to do is keep it moving, because you don't want to make the film that's on the top of the mirror card start to contract. So keep your heat gun moving, completely the opposite of what we do when we're using embossing powder. There we go. Let's see where we're at. And then the best way to do this is to put a piece of white card over the top, make see if it's dry. And look, there's been no transfer of ink there at all. So that's dry now and smudge proof on your mirror card. So I think a really good addition to the Inkler brand. You might not use them as much as you use your alcohol markers, but for just those little highlights and lowlights, yeah, they're going to be fabulous.